Yeah, historically gun control is pretty racist. They feel that they have more in common with working-class white Virginians, so I guess we'll see. Either way, government, you know you done f***ed up when Antifa and gun owners are rallying together. So the group is getting federal gun charges and alien harboring charges. They apparently call themselves The Base, which is A, the English translation of Al-Qaeda, and B, not an easy thing to Google, as it's also apparently the name of a nonprofit here in Massachusetts. But according to the ADL, the base's founder describes the group both as kind of like a nationalist, survivalist, LinkedIn type of thing, claiming they're only terrorists if they lose, but then at other times tries to backpedal and say they're only shitposting. VCDL and GOA filed an injunction against the ban, which the courts denied. The decision came after the aforementioned arrest, and Northam cited said arrest as proof that Lobby Day will be violent, and thus the emergency ban is needed. So thank you, neo-Nazis, for ruining it for the rest of us.
Recently, a set of bills failed to pass the Virginia State Senate. Gun right advocates are celebrating and patting each other on the backs as they take credit for the measure failing to pass. But was it really a win? And were they even responsible? I know I am speaking about this late, but I wanted to address this before moving on to current matters. Many across the country watched the massive protest at the state's capital and see it as a victory. I, however, do not view it with blind admiration. To me, it was a toothless demonstration that quickly turned into a pathetic orgy of cringe. What did it really accomplish? Nothing. I say toothless because despite what the media tried to paint it as a demonstration guaranteed to turn violence was in full swing, assuring everyone that we're non-violent people. This is a peaceful protest. Flexing your muscles while simultaneously assuring that you are no threat is nothing short than putting on a show. The idea that the Senate stopped the measure because they feared what would happen if they didn't is ignorance. The House Democrats that created the measure voted to pass them with complete contempt. They feared nothing. The only reason it failed in the Senate was due to the political makeup. It was never going to pass. I'm sure there are many seeing this and thinking that one good element was the number of sheriffs who stepped out of line to stand against the government. While this is true, those sheriffs are now facing possible criminal charges. And if those measures take effect, you will see law enforcement step back into line and shut their mouths real fast. When the demonstrators were not busy assuring everyone that they were not a threat and there was never going to be any form of aggression, they were spending the rest of their time trying to convince the world that they were not racist Nazis. What was supposed to be a demonstration for gun rights and the Constitution melted into a show of mass cuckoldry as whites took to every camera they could find and made sure to post as many videos and photos of themselves with black people as they could to show how unracist they are. They cared more about proving they were not racist than they did about defending the Constitution. Allow me to illustrate the basis of my views here. I had little faith in the demonstration from the start when they announced they would allow Antifa to demonstrate with them, because everyone deserves gun rights. But I lost all respect when 3 members of an activist group, The Base, was arrested for harboring an undocumented Canadian and, quote, illegal weapons. I watched as organizers and participants of this demonstration applauded their arrest. I shall state that again for those in the back. These men were arrested and charged for having firearms, and their arrest was not only cheered by a large group protesting the outlawing of firearms, but that group openly expressed that the men deserved no right to assemble and no right to speak, ultimately boiling the whole event down into, we do not want these kind of demonstrators. They should not be allowed to share their racist ideas. By the way, look at me with my black friend. One such person who proved this point is the YouTuber Liberty Doll. In a video discussing the base, she calls them Nazis and states the definition provided by the ADL as a source for her information about them, and propagated this information to her viewers. This is the same ADL that now claims the Virginia rally was a white nationalist rally. And it was well predicted by me and many others that this rally would at least give its patrons a taste of what happened to the attendees at the Unite the Right rally years ago, and how the media demonized and slandered them. And while the media did just that to these Second Amendment demonstrators, very few of them learned the lesson. In closing, my takeaway from this rally merely confirms what I already knew, that the majority are willing to put on their costumes and LARP as revolutionaries in a situation they know is ultimately safe. But when the government finally comes to drag all of us from our homes for exercising our constitutional rights, these same people will merely watch from their living room windows, being grateful it's not them. And at the core of all this, had whites cared as much about their own as much as they do for non-whites, their gun rights would not be under attack, and the government would not be padded with politicians who hate us. Until next time, be sure to follow me on all my social media links that I put in the description. And remember, watch from the shadows and see the truth.